Hello, it's me again. Um, so I moved, and it's not everything I thought it would be, and I'm meeting a lot of challenges within. But this is par for the course when you are transforming and rebirthing and becoming someone new, and it doesn't happen in 5 seconds. So, we just have to keep going. We just have to keep working at it. And, for me, I know that many of us are in this place where we feel like we have no power over our lives, when have physical limitations. Like for me, I don't have a license, I don't have a car, I'm dependent on other people. Job wise, that's difficult. Looking for help in a new state has been challenging, but I have been very blessed. Um, God has a way, the divine, the universe has a way of helping you when you need help. And when you're going through a transformation, a rebirth, you have to look at God as like your sugar daddy. You don't get what you want, you don't get everything that you want, but you get what you need. And so He is taking care of me. So I'm just going to be 100% honest. I mean, it's just weird being on this YouTube sometimes. So, um, but I'm trying to be as authentic as possible. It's been very, very difficult. But I understand the difficulty is what's coming from within me. So I wanted to talk a bit about what it feels like when you're trying to manifest and you feel trapped, and maybe share some things that I'm working on that are helpful. So just also working with the super moon that we just had, and just taking advantage of that's still in power here. So um, but some questions maybe you might want to ask is to list all the things about yourself that you've ever wished to change, and you know just listing all of those things and being honest with yourself 100%. um, and then and then looking at what is it about yourself that you were rejecting and why. um, for me, it's that I'm a failure, that I was made wrong, too stupid to change, especially when I keep making the same mistakes over and over again, thinking I should be over it by now. But we're only ready for what we're ready for. And we've got to stop doubting ourselves, and we've got to stop feeling like failures, because that's just keeping us in the loop, right? So, and then, as I wrote, you know, the things that were, I was rejecting myself about and why, it reminded me of my childhood. Everything on here I can relate to my childhood. And so there's some shadows that are showing up, shadows to meditate with, accept, and then send to Mama Earth to, transmute. So that's something I'm finding helpful. At the same time, it's really difficult, because it's difficult to face those things. It's very painful. Um, and sometimes I just want to give up, but I won't. But I won't. But it's that feeling, and that's honest. So feeling that way and going there are two different things. So, um, so understanding where did that story come from, and that suggested that something about you was wrong or not good enough or needed to change. For me, it was like it reminded me of my childhood, and for many of you, it's going to be the same. But it also could be something that happened, currently in your life in the past 10 years, 20 years. I moving from where I came from, I was leaving behind a wrong mindset. That was based on a relationship that wasn't good for me, that was toxic for me, that I had a really difficult time leaving. So, moving and making the decision, to take a leap of faith, was wonderful, and it still is. And it's an opportunity, and it's an opportunity to let the universe know that you're ready to do something to show the universe that you're ready to make some changes. Well, that's all fun and great, but you know what? The closer you get to that transformation and rebirth, the more that gunk in you comes up, the more that I have found that I have been self righteous. I have been hateful. I have been a lunatic sometimes with my words and my thoughts, and then the feeling the guilt. But I'm learning to let go of that guilt because I was made perfect. My soul is perfect. Your soul is perfect. So, so, uh, and then writing any and all of the negative and oppressive energy that comes up for you or out of you. And, and then taking a moment to reflect on all that you are now and how far you've come and all that you've achieved. That can be difficult because, when we have been in this mindset of not loving ourselves and finding all the things wrong and living in the negative, it's hard to think of the good things about us. But there's so many good things about each and every one of us, so find it, be truthful, do it, because if you don't, then you're just going to keep going around the circle. And when you keep going around the circle and you're not committed to doing the things that will help you with your transformation, that will align you with it, then you're just basically lying to yourself. And then who are you going to blame? All the manifestations of the same crap and the same type of people that come up, they're just where they're at in their journey, and they're there as your teacher. So are you just going to continue to go around the loop and blame other people, or are you going to take responsibility when you make those mistakes, when you fail? And it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay as long as your intention is to make the changes and you're doing the actions daily. um, I was getting kind of confused with the actions, thinking I had to physically do something outside of inward work, but I'm coming to understand that um, it doesn't work that way. It you have to you have to work on your inside, and sometimes that's the action you take, is that the fact that for 4 days in a row you did your meditations, for 4 days in a row, what I'm saying. It doesn't always have to be some big outside thing, because another set of questions you can ask yourself is, what is in your power to change right now? That is a really good one. What is in your power to change right now? So, like for me, right now, I don't have a job. I don't have a car. I don't have transportation. I don't know very many people. And I'm dependent. So, but that's just a temporary place. That is just a temporary place that I'm in right now. I'm in the cocoon. I'm in the goo, and it's tough. And I'm having to deal with, other people's issues and deciding where my boundaries are, learning to stand up for myself, but without being disrespectful to others and still loving others. So, what is in your power to change right now? And, what choice do you want to make here and why? Is this decision ultimately from a place of self love, or are you not sure? And is the choices that you make, that you want to make, are they aligned with pure source love? With pure source, would pure source love choose this for itself? Because you're pure source love. So would you choose that for yourself if you were completely pure source love? If you had arrived, which we never do, right? Um, I've just been doing these things, and then I found something, on here on YouTube, about like just setting an intention for your higher heart, settling in your higher heart, and focusing on that with intention, and saying whenever you get angry, tired, overtired, or fearful, because sometimes when we're overtired, it's kind of like when we just don't want to deal. So we just have to recognize and discern within ourselves, where are we. But when you feel anger and that overtiredness and that fear, you can say to yourself, you can intend in your higher heart, I recognize my inner worth and I am worthy. I recognize my inner worth and I am worthy. And just say it over and over again. And ground yourself while you're doing it. So, you know, these are all tools that I'm using that I think might work for you. Um, but it's just sometimes you just need to know that you're not the only one. You know, that you're not alone. And, you know, there's other people out there going through the same thing as you, but not just that. You have your entourage. You have your spirit guides. You have a whole team of people helping you and reminding you. And, you know, that's the cards. It's a tool I use to connect, you know, with my entourage. And, you know, they're so loving because, you know, even right after I fail, you know, and I make a big mistake and I said something I shouldn't have, or I got angry when I shouldn't have, and I'm feeling really guilty, you know, I get these messages that are just beautiful, you know, saying, you know, you're okay. Remember who you are. So, and I've gotten, you know, comments from many of you who are in a really tough spot right now too, and I feel for you. You know, I really do. I know what that feels like. But you all are gonna get to watch me overcome and manifest and make the changes and finally catch up to my abundance, which is right here. And I encourage you to use every tool that works for you. You know, sometimes journaling doesn't work for some people, you know, but whatever works for you. Um, music, um, you know, just anything that you can do, any kind of ritual, any kind of, you know, work with the full moon, work with the new moon. Um, I, I, I work well with writing things down. Um, and I would encourage you to do that, actually, even if it's not your thing, just for a little bit, because sometimes when you actually write and list the things that, you know, the answers to these questions of what's going on inside you, and you go back to it, you know, on another day, you can see how far you've come. You can say, oh, you know what? I'm overcoming that, and I see that in myself, you know. I had self-control, you know, I'm mastering my mind, I'm mastering my heart, you know, my higher heart. I'm learning to live in my higher heart. I'm learning to live in unconditional love toward myself, and so that I can live that way towards others, you know. So I wanted to pull some cards because I got this really cool deck, and it's about shadows. And you know, I know there's guys out there, you know, and a lot of these cards are women oriented, but there's always been a lot more women that do this kind of work. But there are a lot more men that are. So I, you know, it may pull up a picture of a woman, but you know, it applies all the same, okay? So, all right, so I'm asking to pull 3 cards that will help us with some of us that are feeling trapped right now. What would be helpful messages for our highest good, you know? So, because we're walking this journey together, right? Okay, so I just thank you, universe, for 3 cards that can help us, those of us that are feeling trapped. Um, you know, feel encouraged and maybe even some advice and, you know, in dealing with our shadows and just our daily stuff, you know. So, let's get these, gotta get this figured out, you know. And when you keep moving around, it's like, how do you find the right spot for your camera and all that? But, you know, I'll get it worked out. All right, one more shuffle. And maybe just kind of turn this so you can see a little bit. I made it much darker. Oh boy. Okay, well, maybe not. That's better. Not too dark. Okay. All right, so 3 cards. So, We have got on the bottom of the deck, weeping wounds. You are not your wounds. You know, wow, that's a powerful picture, isn't it? You are not your wounds. You know, this many times I find myself not being able to have scars because my wounds keep bleeding, you know. So it's really important that we do that inner work because no one's going to do it for us, and our entourage isn't going to do it for us, but they'll encourage us along the way. And until we do it, and we do it on a daily basis, I'm telling you, you're just going to keep going around that circle because there are laws in this universe. And you know, we just it's difficult to change, but it's doable. It is doable. And when you need along the way, you just ask. You know, like right now, I'm wanting community. I'm wanting community of like mind, and I've met some people, and we'll see what happens. You know, so the first card is there. It says sharing. There is a giving and receiving in giving. There is giving and receiving and giving. So you know, I'm wanting community. I'm sure a lot of you want community. You know, and you know, positive community. I mean, this is a group of people who seem pretty connected. So, you know, sometimes when we're feeling neglected or, you know, like people don't care and da 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 da, you know, maybe we just need to do something for someone else. You know, maybe we just need to, you know, find someone or something else to bless, even an animal, you know, um, a kind word. You know, we can, I mean, even as simple as just sending a message on a messenger or on Facebook to somebody that you know is struggling, and just, you know, sending something encouraging, an encouraging meme. There's so many things that we can do. So, sharing, you know, and community, because we need community. We do. We can't just isolate for forever and ever. You know, it causes us to be weird. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just meant, you know, too isolated, you know, and then we don't know how to relate to people. So, and then the next one, wishful expectations. Acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. So it's like, and she's on this wheel and she's exhausted. You know, that's a really powerful picture. This is a great deck. It's called the Lantern. The Lantern Oracle. Amazing. Um so acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. So the illusions. You know, we have illusions in our life. We have false beliefs. You know, the way we see things, the way we've always seen things, and we need to change that. We need to change how we see ourselves and how we see the world, because it's just exhausting to just keep going round and round with the same crap, you know? So, acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. It's good messages. And then, let's see, we've got repair. Making amends rather than fun times reveals a relationship's true constitution. Wow. So, you know, sometimes you got to work on um, making things right with the people around you. Because when we're so wounded, when we're so wounded and so traumatized, and life's not gone well for a while, we lash out at people, we blame people. You know, we call in so easily the people who will, you know, treat us the way we treat ourselves, and then, you know, we don't respond the right way, and that's okay. But when we don't, we have to make amends. You know, we have to make it right. You know, sometimes it can be hard to apologize to somebody who's treated you poorly. But when you do it, you're accountable to you, and you're accountable to the universe for everything that you think and you say. So it's not about them taking responsibility. If they do, that's wonderful. But it's about you taking responsibility for yourself. You know, and when you do that and you keep doing that, then those people who do those things, who don't act right, who act like assholes too, you know, they're going to learn something too. They're going to learn not to treat you a certain way, and they're going to learn that maybe something about themselves. You never know. You know, maybe when you treat yourself the right way, you know, they learn something about treating themselves the right way. You know, because we're all somewhere on our path, right? We're all somewhere on our path. You know, and some people haven't learned some of the things that we've learned, and you know, there's things that we haven't learned yet that there's other people who have already learned. And I would hope that they would have patience with me, you know? So I have to have patience with other people as well. Make amends. You know, when you make a mistake, you know, do what you can to make it right. If it's just an apology, then apologies, you know, if there's something you can do, then do it. But if there's not something that you need to do, you know, it just depends on who it is and what the situation was. You can discern that, right? Yeah. So, anywho, I feel like I rushed this a little bit, but you know, I don't know. I have a lot to say, and and it's been rough, but good times are coming, you know. And sometimes we got to declutter on a daily basis, and check in every week to see how we're doing, and you know, do our daily work. You know, and that could be, you know, daily work can just be such a small spot right here, sorry. It can be just going outside and putting your feet in the grass. You know, I spent like 2 nights in a tent in the backyard here, and I'll have to show you the backyard. But it's like super green and like just huge, and there's lots of trees, but it rained and it got really humid, and but it was nice just to be in that little space, just, you know, me and nature, me and Mother Gaia, and me and my entourage, and me and the universe, doing some meditations. Um, and then, you know, it's like everything can't be just all serious, right? Can't be just all serious, you know? So I just smoked a little bud and watched some comedy. Yay! I had such a good time. Absolutely. So, um, yeah. And sometimes we just got to do that. And that was another thing I've learned too is have fun. Do your best to have fun in any way, shape, or form that you can. Or keep yourself busy doing something like this. You know, like I needed to do something to take my mind off of the heaviness of where I'm at right now. And it does. It feels heavy at times. You know, so I'm doing my best, and you know, I want to give too. I mean, just being a support. I've needed that, you know, and I get on here and I watch the videos of other people, and they're so supportive, and you know, it's encouraging, you know, enlightening, and then just to know that we're not alone, you know, we're not alone. So, anywho, so for those of you who are trapped, I send a prayer out, or who feel trapped. You know, sometimes we're not trapped; we just feel like it. That's the wishful expect, or the acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. You know, we're not trapped. It feels that way though, and that can be difficult. But, but we are moving forward. And if we are taking an action to do something every day, whether that's meditation, sticking your feet in the grass, or whatever, going to help someone else, sending something encouraging, whether no matter what we're doing, we're moving forward. You know, we're moving forward. You know, and I would encourage you also to ask once a week if, you know, okay, how am I doing? You know, use a pendulum. You know, how am I doing? Where am I at? You know, and synchronicities happen when we're doing our work, so they lead us in the right direction, you know. Um, yeah, so I love you all, um, and I'm going to try and get on here more often. Just been going through it, and, you know, trying to work with my space and all that good stuff. So, love you guys, love you all, and I will be back soon. Bye.